This time on Monkey Life. A bust-up at the lemur enclosure ends in serious injuries for Kaiyah.
They have like a mouth full of Stanley knives and they can make really, really big holes in each other.
Milkshakes all round for Paddy's chimpanzees.
But really does entertain everyone, you know, the keepers and the chimps.
And siamang Sasak and Sam are back singing in harmony. Monkey World, tucked deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and neglected primates from all over the world.
I think this one's a little boy, and I think that that one over there might be an older lady, so we might have a pair already.
The park provides a home for more than 240 monkeys and apes, and the aim is to give them as natural a life as possible. Overnight, one of the park's ring-tailed lemurs has been involved in a scuffle with another member of the group. Staff came in this morning to find 5-year-old Kaiyah with serious injuries, and she's been rushed into the sanctuary's hospital.
We're not really quite sure what's happened. We thought they'd be all right, but when we caught her up to have a closer look, they turned out to be much more nasty than we thought. So unfortunately, we're going to have to stitch them, so that's what the plan is today.
Once Kaiyah is anaesthetised, vet Thezar Sastre can start to check just how badly she's been wounded. Lemurs might appear harmless, but their teeth can do a lot of damage.
You don't want to get too close to them. They have like a mouth full of Stanley knives and they can make really, really big holes in each other for no apparent reason. They're just very, very, very dangerous animals.
Just like any other wild animal, they should always be treated with caution.
You look at a lemur, and lemur's a very good example of this, because everybody looks at the lemur and thinks, oh, isn't it cute? Can I cuddle one? I don't think so.
Kaiyah came to the park in 2008. She was rehomed from Belfast, where she'd been living with Adrian and his family since he bought her from a British breeder. But they soon discovered that keeping a primate as a pet isn't a good idea.
Kaiyah didn't fit into our life at all. We had to fit around Kaiyah, and the older she got, the harder it got.
I don't think anything can prepare you for a handling primate. It's very, very difficult animal to keep.
Lemurs don't make good pets. They look cute, but they're not. End of. You don't need to discuss it any further than that. They might look cute, but they're not.
Because she'd never lived with her own kind before, at first, young Kaiyah was lacking in lemur etiquette, and it took a while for her to fit in with the rest of the group.
Right, that's better.
No one knows who injured Kaiyah last night, but stitching up her wounds is going to be a tricky job.
The head towards me, that's it.
Her injuries are more extensive than they first realised. The rip to her abdomen is 3 centimetres long. And there's more to come.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't see that guy.
What has he done?
The arm wound will be even harder to fix than the laceration on her belly. It's not a clean cut, and it extends right around her elbow.
It's gonna be very tight.
Putting Kaiyah back together is going to be a test of Thezar's surgical skills. It's still early, and at the Siamang Gibbon house, Kat is preparing a nutritious start to the day for another primate not long out of hospital and her mate.
I'm just putting some breakfast in just now so that they can come back in and get warmed back up with their breakfast. And then it was just nice for them to have it inside.
Siamang, Sasak and Sam are never far apart.
Come on in, guys! Breakfast!
Sasak's got a hearty appetite now, but it was a different story just 4 weeks ago when she had to be anaesthetised for a series of urgent medical investigations. She'd been off her food and was very lethargic. The team were worried that there was something seriously wrong with her.
Right.
But the tests were inconclusive and the cause of her sickness remained unknown.
If that was a big impaction, then you should be able to feel it.
Since then, they've been giving her a number of food supplements.
Interesting.
As we are very unsure of what actually was going on with Sasak, we're actually giving her a few extra supplements at the moment as well. One of them is just a multivitamin that just makes sure that if she's got any low levels of vitamins and minerals, that'll just boost that. And also we did see some strange liver function results in the blood test. So we're also giving her milk thistle, which again will just help with that liver function and hopefully improve her overall condition.
Sasak's been steadily improving.
Good girl, go on then.
Now that she's eating well again, she's been given plenty of extra protein to help her regain the condition she lost.
The gibbons are not really partial to insects. Some of them will take the occasional one from us, but Sasak really does enjoy them, and particularly the locusts. She really does stuff them in, so yeah, she likes it, so we don't care. We just keep giving her it.
There's no sign of her mystery sickness now.
Now she's basically back to being Sasak that we know and love. She's energetic, she's enthusiastic, she's hungry. She's out with Sam outside in the enclosures, doing what she needs to be doing on a daily basis. So we think hopefully she's turned the corner and she's back to full health now.
Sam was lost the day his beloved Sasak was in hospital and he was left alone. But now their duet is echoing around the park again, and unusually, they're not high up in the trees.
Well, the siamangs, like all gibbons, they do like to go right up into the tree canopy when they're singing. That helps to really boost that sound and throw it out right across the territory. However, today, the sun's not really hitting it. It is hitting this lovely spot down on the ground and reflecting off the fence as well, so it's probably nice and warm down there. They definitely want to sing and let everybody know they're here, so they've just decided to do it on the ground for a change.
After their recent fears for Sasak's health, the team can relax and enjoy the performance.
It is such a relief to see Sasak back outside with Sam, to see her back to the way she was. She had us all really, really worried for quite a few weeks there, and it was, you know, a big concern for us. So seeing her back the way she is, it's brilliant news. It's fantastic for us.
It's a special day at Paddy's chimpanzee enclosure. There's been a huge donation of fresh milk to the park, and this group are in for a rare treat. It's arrived in bottles, so primate care staff Kate and Ruth just have to spread them all around. Then everyone will have a chance to get their hands on some, even those who are usually calorie counting.
The chimps sometimes get milk. We usually give it as a supplementary item to some of the ones that are lower in weight. So obviously some of the big ladies in Paddy's group, they don't normally get it. And often the ones that would get it would only get it in cups. So it's completely novel to have it in a bottle. So for those girls that don't get it, it's going to be extremely exciting for them.
Getting into the containers will be as much fun as drinking what's inside.
We like to make things a little bit more difficult for them, so we're leaving the milk in the bottles. Usually the chimp's technique to get them out is to bite the bottle open, so I should imagine that'll be a surprise when the liquid flies out.
Bottles in place, it's time for some action.
Let's let them out, see what they think.
There's a mad dash for the delicacy as soon as the doors are opened. Clynn's straight off to find a friend to share her excitement, but her hands are too full for the usual greeting. Bix has a bit slapdash. But not a dribble from careful Kay. And there's no diet for Susie today.
It's really interesting, actually, how they're opening the bottles. Usually when we give them enrichment, they just rip everything open, but they're so carefully turning the caps and then just pouring it and putting it down. It really surprised me, actually.
Even for a chimp, balancing's tricky when your hands are full.
We've put out a large volume of bottles so that we can guarantee that everybody has got some.
But too much is never enough for some folk.
We've got a few individuals that are making the most of today. Beth being one of them, who's got both hands and feet with bottles and one in mouth.
There's still enough for even the low rankers to make the most of.
He became straight out and took a whole bottle and sat and drank a whole bottle. Pepper got 2 on the way out behind the mound. Eddie didn't to start with, but she's got one now.
Clyn's obsessed with gathering up all the bottles she can, even from right under Gamba's nose.
She came from a laboratory in France, and we're led to believe that she was starved for a period of time, or food was restricted in some way. So when she arrived here, she used to store or hoard food in case she didn't get any more. So obviously when we do put out anything in a large volume, like we've done this morning, she's grabbed as many as she can, so she'll probably keep those bottles in some way on her, near her, for the rest of the day.
When young Bart comes out, he's a bit baffled by the grown-up's passion for the white stuff.
He sees play in everything. But he's in that in-between stage where he's still trying to establish his status with the group. He's sort of torn between that I want to be a man and also I want to be a baby phase.
There's nothing macho about the way he's getting into these bottles. Bart's still got milk on tap from Mum Susie, so having fun is all that matters.
He really does entertain everyone, you know, the keepers and the chimps.
It's not long before nearly everyone is completely full up.
We've got some quite large barrel tummies for a lot of chimps now. I think they've drank as much as they possibly can. I think Cindy was still trying to force it down. It looked actually quite an effort to lift it up to drink it, bless her. So I think we'll probably have quite a quiet afternoon, which says to me absolute content chimps, and they've had their fill and they've enjoyed every minute of it.
At Monkey World's hospital, ring-tailed lemur Kaiyah is on the operating table. She has several serious wounds after a fight with another lemur. It's not the first time Jeremy has seen such injuries.
That isn't atypical of lemur wounds because they just have this ability, and really it's been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now we've got close-up and personal with the wounds. It doesn't surprise me at all. I've seen as bad. And it's just what lemurs do.
To minimise the risk of infection, Tracy cleans the gashes whilst veterinary surgeon Thazar gets ready for a difficult session.
Have you got kidneys and sterilised kidneys?
Sterilised,
yeah.
Kaiyah's going to be anaesthetised for much longer than they first thought. The belly wound has gone through several layers.
The muscle was damaged, so there was a bit tear there, which has been stitched up now, and is pretty much closing by layers. The problem with these wounds is that they are very, very dirty by nature because they have loads of hair inside, which is what we've been trying to clean for how long? Half an hour, an hour?
When Thazar moves on to repairing Kaiyah's arm, he faces a massive challenge.
Right, so for this, I'm going to need to tie somehow.
The razor-like teeth that slashed her flesh have left rough, jagged edges. Added to that, the skin is much tighter at a joint than on her belly. With such an active young animal, there's a risk she might split her stitches once she's awake.
there's too much tension, the skin is in too much tension because I've stitched up the other side.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna open. But if I want one to open, is this one, not the one in the elbow. So, providing the other one stays fine, I will be pleased.
Kaiyah has been on the operating table for almost 2 hours, but it's gone well. And as he nears the end, Thazar is optimistic.
I don't see any reason to have any problems in the future because it hasn't affected nerves, it hasn't affected joints. We are not in the joint, it's just muscle tears, so it should be fine.
While she's still asleep, they take a blood sample for future checks and record her weight.
2.7. She's waking up.
It's a promising sign.
Take the tube. She hasn't coughed, but she's...
That's fine, I was cooking it now. Let's put it back in the...
Yeah, you gotta put it on here.
That's very good, because it's been a long anesthesia in the end.
Yeah.
Kaiyah will be carefully monitored until she's fully awake and recovered enough to return to the group. It's 6 months since marmosets Rattler and Tya arrived at the park. They're barely recognisable as the same undernourished primates that were rescued from the squalor of a flat in Plymouth. The marmoset's home was a length of plastic tubing suspended beneath a curtain rail. When Alison and RSPCA inspectors went in, it hadn't been cleaned out for days, and there were feces, dead insects, and cigarette butts all over the flat.
They urinate in this plastic pipe here, and yet their food's put in there, so they have to walk through their urine and feces to get to their food.
Tya was just a few months old. She had to compete for food with much bigger Rattler and would get knocked to the floor.
Come on. She's about to get thumped by him. Yeah. He's gonna take it. Come on. Come on. I can't sit enough at the moment, and I'm not very happy. I'm gonna caution you, okay?
Yeah, well.
Rattler and Tya were removed to the care of Monkey World, where they soon settled in. With a healthy diet and correct supplements, they've put on weight, and now they're healthy, well-adjusted characters. Today, Alison is travelling back to Plymouth as an expert witness in the court case against their owner.
The gentleman really didn't know what he was doing or what the marmoset's needs were, and it was about the worst circumstances that we've ever collected common marmosets from the British pet trade, from the worst that I've ever seen.
The RSPCA are prosecuting Rattler and Tya's owner for cruelty. If the case goes against them, the two little primates could be returned to their previous owner under terrible conditions again. And there's no knowing what the outcome will be. But suddenly, partway through the proceedings, there's a commotion.
Any comments, sir?
And the defendant rushes out of the courtroom and makes off on his mobility scooter. In his absence, he's found guilty of 10 charges of cruelty and banned from keeping primates for life.
Good for Rattler and Tya, which is what I'm here for today, so we're really pleased that they have their future secured now.
It's the best possible result for the two marmosets, who can now spend the rest of their days at the sanctuary. At Monkey World, ring-tailed lemur Kaiyah is recovering from her wounds. She spent the morning in hospital being stitched up, following a fight with another member of the troop. While most of the others are outside, for now, she's confined to the overnight pen to give the gashes on her abdomen and arm a chance to heal. She seems to be coping well with being away from the others during the day.
Any other lemur that we'd have to keep in the pen for any length of time, you know, very quickly you'd see them getting stressed, especially being away from the group. But Kaiyah generally copes pretty well, and because she's so interactive with everything that you put in for her, you can vary each day from another and just keep her busy, whereas with the other lemurs it can be a little bit more tricky.
In the wild, ring-tailed lemurs are endemic to Madagascar, where they live in big family groups. They use their distinctive tails like flags to communicate with one another, especially when they're travelling in search of food or water. Kaiyah isn't completely on her own in the enclosure. She's got Houdini for company.
Houdini himself has had his own problems, but he gets on very well with Kaiyah. And it's just nice for her to have somebody there, something else to think about, and to cuddle up to and have a groom if she wants to.
The team are bringing in different kinds of enrichment to keep lively Kaiyah from getting bored while she's recuperating. First thing Kaiyah wants to know is, what does it smell of? Her long muzzle and wet nose are designed to gather information about her environment.
Everything that we put in for these guys is going to smell different, especially things like the blankets that have been donated. So they always have a good sniff of it first. That's their main way of communicating anyway, so they can find out lots of information with that. Just to smell, just to make sure it's all right, it doesn't smell dangerous or anything before they take the plunge and jump in it. So it's always a safe thing to do for a lemur.
Satisfied all's well, Kaiyah finally dives in.
She just loves anything novel and new and anything that she can luck around with, so this seems to be a hit with her.
While Kaiyah convalesces, she can still see the rest of the group and interact with them through the mesh.
I would imagine she'd probably prefer to be out and about with them, but by what she's showing us in the behaviours that she's doing, she's not overly stressed or really that bothered. So for the moment, she seems perfectly happy and she's adapting to life in the pen at the minute.
Next time on Monkey Life, the park bids an emotional farewell to its first hand-reared woolly monkey.
Sad to see them go, but happy for them.
And a brand new look for golden-cheeked gibbon Tyo.
It will take him another few months and then he'll be a gorgeous little black boy like his dad and his brother.